sound with them. If you see green, it's on. If you don't see green, it's off.
So
It's just that simple.
have you
Just
tested it on using Tony?
the little person, actually I tested it with somebody sitting back here,
Okay,
and it works great.
because Tony's always the one that has troubles.
Yep.
Does his have a green light on it too?
Everybody's will. So, and if you need to mute yourself for some reason, you can either turn it off, or if you just hold down that little button next to it with the 3 dots, that's a quick mute. It'll turn red. So you know that there's no sound coming.
So if you push the one that's got the 3 dots, it goes mute.
Yep.
How do you unmute?
Just let go.
Just let go?
Yeah,
Okay.
it won't stay. You have to hold it. So, while you're holding it down, you're not on. So while you're holding it down, it goes red. And then as soon as you let go, and your microphone, your mic goes away. So if you see green, you're good. Green is good. And we all get our own.
Does that
So,
answer your question?
and green is
No,
good.
you sat down.
Basically, you don't need to do anything.
That's a mute.
Okay.
That's the only one you need to do.
If that green
Shut
light
that
goes
and the green
away,
goes off.
yep, just hold it down as long as you
Push it.
want to be muted. See
Okay.
your green light just went away up on the top too, and it was red.
Oh, okay.
So, yep,
So if
so,
I want to say, hey Ed, what do you think about this? I do that, right? Then I put it back on and I say,
And then Tony chimes in and
That's what I was
says,
getting ready
you
to say,
can't
you've
have
got
any of
bigger
those
problems than
conversations.
that.
All right.
Thank you, Chelsea. I went over to get it, they told me you had it over here.
All right. Is it recording? Are we ready?
we're
Are
good.
we ready?
Yeah, we're all good.
2 o'clock, we'll call the workshop of the Board of Supervisors
I'm
to
trying
order.
to send it to him and do
We're going
this.
to waive the pledge until the regular board meeting.
We'll get the right agenda up. This
Yeah.
one's not the right one.
No.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, you're
Yes.
putting that,
Agenda.
you're putting another agenda up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Georgia didn't give me the workshop one, she just gave me this one. Come on. Agenda packet, there you go.
There we go. Okay. A little bit less formal. Okay, how do we want to start this? We want to page by page, or
Let's start
you
with,
want to give us an update?
yeah, let's do a brief update real quick. You sending it to Tony? Okay, I got it.
Trying,
I
I'm
got
like,
it,
I
I got it.
can't.
Everybody got a copy of it?
I just did.
Electronically.
Make sure it's got, I think it's version 4, yeah.
Okay,
That's the same
so,
one we had last.
yeah, it's
meetings.
nothing, we haven't changed anything. So, just a couple things. The board did task staff to go and ask the county if they would entertain taking over the Sherman Soccer Complex. They wouldn't even entertain a meeting, or a conversation. They just said, thanks, but no thanks. We're not interested. That doesn't align with our goals and objectives right now. So, that being said,
well, at least we asked the question.
yes, we did ask the question. So, and I did get it in writing and back from their Parks and Recreation Director. The second thing that you tasked us with is Stephen Bloom and Laura to start to look at our capital projects that we removed, like the fields or any other large capital projects that we had planned or we moved out, looking at the financing options for that. Stephen Bloom did receive 2 options back. Well, we really have 3 options. So we always have the bond, the 2023 bond validation that we did. So as long as the projects fall within those categories that were part of the bond validation, you have that.
Did it have to be identified specifically on that bond validation to be included?
The bond validation was pretty vague, that it had broad stroke categories. The bond series, if you chose to take out another one, is where you would be specific and detailed. So, like for instance, in the bond validation, we said stormwater, like swale reclamation, cleaning of our storm drains, things like that. We didn't say which basins that we were going to do. As we took out the bond series, we said, okay, this is for this specific basin because we want to have this cleaned.
So fill in the category, it could be delineated later.
Yes. So that's an option. So there's still funding available as part of that bond validation. We have Stephen Bloom received a 5-year bank option and a 10-year bank option. The 5-year option was a 72-month term. It's at a 4.74 fixed for the term interest. The 10-year option was, obviously, it's a 132-month term at a 5.33% fixed for the term. So we have those options available if the board wishes us to continue to pursue.
Is there a limit?
We just identified the projects that we had put, so I think it was, I'd have to go back and look at the email chain with him. We only specified those couple of projects. So we could just go back to the bank if there were additional projects or if you wanted to remove projects from that potential capital project.
So these were projects that we could take and eliminate upfront capital to debt retire.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was that, and then the other item, which was a carry forward from a couple meetings ago, you all had asked about the interest, or the rates from the county, right? Because we knew that they were hitting us with every year for 5 years and 8%.
You're talking about utility.
Yes, for utilities. I did get confirmation, so effective December 1st of this year, we will have the 8%, the 4 and 4. They're trying to expedite those and move those up even sooner if possible. Then what they're proposing in 10/1 of 26 is a 16% increase.
At one time?
For that 1 year, and then each year thereafter, 12% increase on top.
Jeez.
So that is what they're pursuing. I told them that they need to give us at least, a 1 or 2 month time frame. Their Board of County Commission they take the month of July off. If they get something on their board docket, it takes them 45 days. So how we incorporated our rates, we said basically anything that they hit us with, it's going to be a pass through to our residents. But those are some big numbers that we're looking at in the future.
We're a retail buyer from them.
Bulk sale, yes.
Wholesale buyer from them. What's their justification that was done in the way of any capital that we should be a part of, that we're picking up the tab?
We asked that last time, and
That's ridiculous.
we're a user to them.
So what's the difference then between a wholesale user and any user? Because that's what you do with any users.
Yeah.
Wholesale users, that's what you do that for.
Yeah.
Is because we go out, and if they have improvements either in their collection or distribution system or in their plant that impact us, we pay our pro rata share, whether it be peak, average, flow, whatever.
Yeah.
But if they are running lines up in the north end of the county to serve the upside of Cape Coral, that has nothing to do with us.
I don't disagree.
There's no justification for that.
I can ask the question again if, in the event
I
that
think we
these
ought to challenge it.
rates do.
I mean, you're talking inside 7 years, 100% increase.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Do
So
we know what they're spending it on? Is that public knowledge?
Well, they have to provide that, but that would sure as hell be nice to know.
Yeah.
Put it out to our people. There are elections coming up in that 7-year period.
Yeah.
And the commissioners got to understand, you just don't take and palm off on Gateway willy-nilly all these increases to satisfy problems you got in other parts of the county because you didn't take and have impact fees to pay for it.
I know I think
Damn sure
a
sounds like
handful-
parks.
Do what?
I think we're a handful of both users that they have. So that's absolutely a question that we can go back and ask when the time
We might want
comes.
to contact the other bulk users.
Yeah.
And create a
Well, the
little,
problem is some of the other bulk users are benefiting from these rate increases directly,
well, that would be
i.e.
nice to know. They could take our share.
i.e. Fort Myers Beach with the Fort Myers Beach water treatment plant that was done with Ian, so.
This is ridiculous.
Anyway, I
And
just
they're not,
wanted,
Kevin, that's not with recovery funds or?
they are,
FEMA funds
they
and
are
things?
pursuing recovery funds. I've asked the same questions, Bob, because the grants that we're applying for,
Yeah.
they should be applying for, so.
I mean, these are unsustainable increases. I mean, my God.
Well, the first thing I'd like to do is find out what is it that they're
Yeah.
doing? That, is this operating cost or is it capital
Capital.
or both? It's capital.
Capital.
Now, then
Well,
that-
and then they have,
That's something's fishy.
So
We
they
need to
have-
know what that is.
Well, it's probably infrastructure.
yeah,
More water and sewer lines, more roads, more whatever.
But my point is that if we've already bought in and we have our capacity, and keep in mind, our capacity isn't changing.
No, we're not.
We aren't
We're there.
growing, so we're static,
slightly.
We're static.
We have a little growth left,
minimal.
minimal,
But
compared to
these
what.
other people that are putting in new facilities that require new treatment plant expansion and or distribution lines, that, if it's a line that goes through Gateway or by Gateway, then I would say, yes, we would participate to some percentage. But if it's a line that's not, doesn't have anything to do with our distribution system, in the case of water or a collection system, that doesn't fly. Something's wrong here.
Anyway,
And
I
that could become a political issue, because people around Gateway that have been satisfied, very well satisfied over the years with our low utility rates, And two, how are we doing them? And my deal is that we now have a financial thing that comes back. All we need to do is pick whether they go into a 5-year bond or a 10-year bond.
Well, if it's a 10-year, it still has to fall under those categories from the bond validation.
Tony is his hand
Yeah, but my
raised.
point is that I don't want to take and have an item that we classify as a 10-year bond that's got a 5-year life. So I want to make sure that we put the right thing in the right category.
The projects that were given to Stephen Bloom had an extended life that would be beyond.
Okay, and right now, those items that are of capital nature, that are in that deal, are not in this current deal, correct? So anything that we add back in as capital, even if it's bond-related, 5-year or 10-year, it adds to the cost.
Yeah, what I would recommend is that we look at, some of these larger projects, that we package them up as projects, and then probably another workshop, we go through and we approve those projects to be incorporated.
Unless we do it
Well,
next year.
and either way, if you did a bond series, or if you did a 5-year bank loan, the repayment of that wouldn't hit
Yeah.
this go around.
Because the funding source through the bond wouldn't necessarily hit
So it's
the next fiscal
it's
year
not a 2026 issue.
until you start spending. Yeah, but my point is, because I think some of these need to be deliberately packaged, because I think that's the most fiscal responsible thing to do with some of these larger projects, is amortize them over time. But then we also need to approve them.
Yes.
I'm just trying to get an idea. What is the dollar volume and what are the projects that we're talking about that make up this list?
Okay, I can, hold on, I'll
What
tell you right
are
now.
those
Tell
projects?
you right now.
So one will be Parks and Rec.
So one is the $500,000 for the Sherman Soccer Complex parking lot. Had the $160,000 of the pool decking. We had $100,000 of the digital message board. We had $1 million for turf upgrades, and then $150,000 for the dog park, which the
So
turf.
that's
the-
all
the
Parks
turf-
and Rec improvement projects.
Yeah, which the turf could drastically change based on some of the estimates.
So you're talking $2 million.
Tony has his hand raised. I don't know if we're past the point. He's had it up for a while. so.
Tony?
Oh, Tony's online?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
he's muted though.
You unmute him.
I can't. I tried. I can lower his hand, but I can't. Tony, I saw your hand. You're still muted.
Can you unmute?
You're still
I think
muted.
he's trying.
Because I think the way it works is, we've identified a project, the Parks and Rec improvement project, includes all those things. And I think we agree in maybe principle that is a project. We put that in this bucket, and then we will need to go back through and either package a bond series, or maybe before that, it's approved what items we want in there. So we may not want all these items, whatever. And then we have the funding source, then we approve again. So there's multiple cycles or iterations in the process before it actually gets funded and has to be absorbed through some type of source.
Well, if we would take all of those, the 2 million, divide that by 10, that's $200,000 a year, throw in interest, you're at about 220. 220, that cost, $220,000. That's what we're talking, is the principal and interest.
The annual.
Annual
Yeah.
bond cost that we are talking about here. That's it.
And we wouldn't see that realized until 2027.
Depending on your
That's what I
funding
don't know.
source. Depending on your funding source, so.
Oh, yeah, so if it's bond series, it'd be one, if we just funded it through,
You start
A
financing,
bank loan.
a bank loan.
You just start paying.
Okay. And that could depend on which one is more desirable. If there's something that needs a sense of urgency, we need to pull it forward. Okay.
So, and
Well, 220, be it 220 or 150 or 160 or 130,
It doesn't.
it doesn't make any difference. It's pocket change
Either-
on the difference.
either way, so I will tell you just the one initial estimate I received on artificial turf for those soccer fields was $5 million.
Yeah,
But that is, I mean, that's turnkey everything.
but here, if we're treating this as a project, what I would expect, each one of these items, there should be a write-up. What is our reason for doing it? What's the justification? What's the cost benefit? Like for the fields, that's a great example. I mean, it's If we make this, option one is we go sod, option two is we go turf. If we go turf, what is the benefit? All right, there's some, there's a reduction in maintenance and blah, 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 blah. And can we charge more of a premium? Would we be able to realize more revenue because the fields won't be shut down for, for weather conditions? So there's all those things.
Somebody needs to do an analysis of these two, both capital and operating costs for the next 10 years, 15-year life cycle to determine, because it may be that the capital of going to artificial turf is a little salty in the first 3 or 4 years, but then when you get on those out years, you start into all that maintenance and turf replacement, that cost goes through the roof.
So we actually have a call with the vendor tomorrow to ask all those questions. Angela's been brainstorming those, Paul and Angela have been brainstorming those. So we do intend on asking those, but I know like most of these artificial turfs are 15-year warranty, if not longer. And obviously, like we've talked about, we don't want to finance something longer than the life of whatever it is that we're doing, so.
Well, the other one is you gave a while ago, that 5 million. Was that 5 million compared with 2 million of turf replacement? Because I can't believe that it's that kind of a difference. I think
it was 4.5 to 5 mil difference, so I'm
but
waiting.
It's apples to apples, same acreage, same.
I'm
area.
waiting on a different vendor to give me a different quote for the same thing, so.
There's a lot of different solutions out there, and there's a lot of different quality of grade when you're talking about the turf. And I would also look at
You got an issue of drainage.
there's a lot of that.
How are you doing drainage on the AstroTurf?
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, and
part of it.
drainage is an existing problem anyway, but even with the sod fields. But I would also look at cost benefit of 5 fields versus 3, because that's not uncommon around here to have half and half.
So
It might be a cost.
That example is a perfect one where obviously we know we're not doing it this year. We need to do some homework on it. Some of the other projects that we have, Tetra Tech's designing or in design or close to finishing up the design. But to your point, Doug, yes, I think we do need to sit down and have a conversation about prioritizing these if at all. And packaging up as a whole deal, either through a bank loan or through a bond
And
series.
let's add one more thing, and I hate to even bring it up, but if we're going to make that type of investment, we may also, in parallel, look at potentially leasing those fields out to an organization, because we will get a much higher premium annually from an organization for doing that. We've had some interest in the past, but that could about be one of the only ways that we could maximize our revenue return on those fields.
So you're gonna try to generate extra revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
On the premise that you really don't damage the grass, if you artificial.
Yeah, right, but then you're just paying off, you're trying to, just increase your investment payback.
And we're doing the cost benefit of all of those things. And even we're on the 3rd year of the 3-year rate increase, looking at, are we doing what we said we were going to do with the rate increases? What's the potential moving forward? Yeah, we have had vendors come in and say, hey, I want to lease out the whole thing, but can I do that? So there's definitely alternatives to how we've been operating in the past.
And what's been restricted from us in the past is wear and tear. So you can't max them out. You can't have a maxed wear and tear. What turf would provide, you could literally go a minute, all the way till 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And
Well, you just can't expect the same return and revenue on turf as you're going to do.
It'd be much higher.
yeah, and you got to shut down during the summers. I mean, there's all those things. But is that worth
Now,
the initial investment?
what about lights? Where's the lighting at? Is that in that too, or is that in addition to?
We're talking turnkey when we're talking to these vendors. So
Yeah, I mean, is lighting included in any of our budgets now, or is that yet to be added?
we're not doing any upgrades. We're just maintaining what we have up there.
Yeah, and it's saying we don't have any existing dollars in our existing budget allocated for light enhancement.
Just repair and maintenance. If the
Repair
light
and
bulb
maintenance, okay.
goes out, we replace it.
Because that's another $2 million anyway.
So like I said, when we're talking to these vendors, we're talking turnkey, we're talking drainage, we're talking, if we do half and half, is it irrigation? What's the lines, the warranty on it, what is their maintenance on it. I know in conversations I've had in the past, depending on the usage, there might be minimal maintenance, but like I said, our first call is tomorrow, so we'll have a little bit more information, but this is,
Well, we need to know not only the information you're coming up with on this, but we need to know what way we're going on that turf to make a decision to get from these people that would be interested in quoting us the deal to find out.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we don't know that we need those answers before we make a decision.
Can you also ask, is there any price consideration if you are converting an existing field versus an undeveloped field?
You would hope that it would be better financially for us.
Why would you want to
Well,
say
the reason I
that?
was asking is because we have the space behind, there's additional field, or additional space behind field 5. That's where we talk about maybe putting the public works or parking or whatever. I'm just curious, if you were building something new out, if you could add 2 additional fields at almost the same cost as it would be to convert, well, now you've had, a 25% increase in your inventory that could help maximize our
Offset that cost.
yeah, revenue.
I don't know how often we refurbish the field.
I think
but we have never done a full,
What do we spend annually on patches, so to speak? We have an
About
5-year
100.
average?
about between 70 to 100,000.
Oh, nothing compared to the 5 million, okay.
And that's spot repairs, and are you also including the deton and
But on 5
all,
million.
all field maintenance?
But on 5 million, you do it one time.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, but if we spend 100,000 a year, well, if you get a 15-year field,
There's your money.
yeah.
There's your money.
But if we're not spending anything now, and it's just a 5 million outlay.
Yeah.
And it was,
Let's-
and we're almost to
let's-
that point of where you've hit almost failure when it comes to those fields, where they just won't, the regeneration of those fields because of the soil, the roots don't have anything to grab onto, it's just, it's a never-ending repetitive cycle
I
of
will
very
say-
low gain.
And then we just retire them for a period of time, 30 days, 60 days.
Every
90
summer,
days.
yeah. Angelo has done a fantastic job with getting them to where they are today, which is better than, the last year or even 2 years ago. So we're continuing to make improvements with, what we have, but I think the year I started here, I recall hearing a presentation that these fields were overutilized with hours and little feet on them, but we've never done a full sod replacement, and it's how many years old?
30?
So, anyhow. So we're contemplating all of these different things, there's a lot.
Not during the workshop.
Yeah.
So this is very, very preliminary. Again, we're just trying to do some due diligence and be able to bring something to you in the coming months.
I'd like to see the numbers because the long-term advantages of doing the artificial, especially if they offer an opportunity to get additional revenue through a contract, I think needs to be done because, like you said, it's 30 years, but I mean, the golf course over there is 38 years. You just don't throw it out. But you do have the issue of you have to rejuvenate it, and which means that usually means setting it aside or having downtime,
Yeah, well-
which is loss of revenue.
Yeah, well, and 2, we almost stay away almost 100% of any type of adult leagues or anything like that.
More
Because more damage. But on turf, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's adult leagues that run, that don't start till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Just
What,
not enough.
what is
So-
the,
When we're looking at this though, don't we need to start looking at this as a revenue source
Yes,
rather than
Yes.
just an amenity that is there? and
that's
we
the
have
subsidy.
to
That's the only way this board would
subsidize it?
even have any potential without getting hung, is if we tie this improvement, and there's a portion that is for the benefit of the community, and I think they'll tolerate that to a certain point. But the amount that we're talking about for complete renovation, there has to be a revenue stream that is tangible to the residents. Okay, I'm willing for us to front the bill on this because we're going to get this back through either enhanced services, and more importantly, offset costs because of X, Y, and Z.
you got to offset costs.
So I like the direction of that thought. I think that subsidizing going into the future is not the way to handle those fields. I think they should be a revenue source. So what do we have to do to make them a revenue source? And I don't mean break even, I mean a revenue source that we make
Well, what we do is,
3%,
I mean, if
5%
it was
every
me,
year,
I'd say,
quote unquote profit.
I would look at what is the percentage of use and benefit directly by residents? And that's like my kid being able to go out there and play, or go to the playground, or participate in a league that I would have to drive or go somewhere else. What is that percentage? That percentage is the amount that I don't care if it's recoverable, because that's part of the amenity expense. But everything else, that's where we need to have a revenue strategy for that. Because again, residents are only tolerant for so much. Yeah.
And I think issues like parking and food disbursement, all that has to
All
be
of
a part of the picture.
I agree.
And it has to be a revenue source, not a subsidy.
When they were giving you the quotes for going artificial, what's the base? Are they blacktopping it, or how are they, what's the base?
I have a call with them tomorrow. This is the same vendor I reached out to when I was back at the beach, when we were contemplating it there. This is their bread and butter, so we have a follow-up call with them tomorrow to find out more information. I said, I just need a budget number. Obviously, if we proceeded with this, we would have to have plans put together, and then we would have to bid it. We would ultimately just have to bid it.
How do we move water off those fields right now? There's no appreciable,
There is,
it's minimal.
well, some are better than others, but.
Do we have drain inlets on the sides?
There's drain, well, it
Yes.
drains into a net, yeah, into.
On a swale?
Yeah, just,
That drains into the swale, and then there's some bubblers that go like to the back and then over to the wetland
Do
over
they
here.
go- Do they go into a storm sewer system, or is it
No.
percolation?
Percolation. The only
and I would
source-
say it's better today than it was 5 years ago. I mean,
See, we need to be able to take that water and get it into our pond system.
yeah, but Ed, you also have to realize, there's 5 fields over there. I bet you there's probably 3 different material makeup in each one, so they all drain
The soils.
differently. Yeah, the soil
yeah.
composition, they all drain differently.
Yeah.
So you try to design a solution for one area, works here, doesn't work here, and it's just a complete nightmare. So you got one that's really dry, one that's really wet. I mean, that's been part of the problem too.
Who's the
$5
company?
million is the real number, whether it is or isn't, but that's the real number. And our current average costs are $100,000 a year. That's an amount you can't get over.
400,000 a year.
I thought it was 100.
Just for the maintenance itself, not like the overall cost, just for like the actual
I want to compare apples and oranges. Are those other costs going to be inherent if we go artificial, or do they go away?
Not necessarily.
some, not necessarily. So like right now, we have automated mowers, we have fertilizer, those
Okay,
things.
got it. That's the
Most
soft
of that
cost
is-
that you need to know.
Most of that is that maintenance.
So then that gives us.
No, come on, go away.
And then if you can project future revenues by opening it up at night, then it might start to close the gap.
Yes.
But 100,000, 5 million, that's just, you can't get there.
Yeah, I
If
think
it's
you're kidding
400,000,
yourself if you think this is going to be an immediate return. It's a long-term deal that you've got to buy into, that this is cost-effective.
well, I can accept the long term, but I want to make sure when I get there,
Yeah.
that I'm getting what I
That, yeah,
want.
that you're getting to what you were
Right.
told you were going to get.
But the problem is, like right now, is we're at almost maximum usage.
Now, I
We can't
understand,
go any further
I understand.
without terminal damage.
but your thought process and knowledge of this, because I have none, is that were the fields available, you think we could
Yeah.
And this-
generate revenue?
So to give you an example, Bob, the fields have been shut down this summer. Kids are out this summer. Leagues happen in the summer. Yeah, it's 100 degrees out, but we're losing 2.5, if not 3 months of potential revenue because we're shut down.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I like all
Part of
that.
it's just a lot of stuff.
I just don't want to spend 5 million to save 100,000. If we're spending
Yeah.
5 million,
And-
and at the end of the 5 years, the cumulative cost would have been 20, then that makes a lot of sense.
And we're looking at all of those things because, you know,
Okay.
we have increased our revenue from 2 years ago, from last year. I think our goal this year was to try to get to the 50%, and I think we're gonna come darn near that number. Right now, we're collecting,
Would you stay with Facilitron?
That we're looking at because of the pickleball courts at the Commons in the future, so we're looking to see if there's an alternative program that we could utilize, because the Facilitron is more just of a reservation system. It's not really of a membership or of a, you come through, you're a resident or you're not a resident, so maybe.
Okay. I don't know what system you use, but it's very effective. We've got a great reservation.
Yeah, I took note of it when I attended one of your coffee talks, so we're looking into all those programs.
It's very robust.
I don't know what it means, but the country club completely stopped the development of the additional pickleball courts on the basis of this being built.
Ours being built?
Oh, are they gonna give us some money?
Is there a sponsorship opportunity?
I think they're doing is they're locking what they've got in their own pocket. In other words, they're just not going to spend the money, they're just going to let members come over here and use the CBD part.
And I'm sure those residents
Everything
won't
was
mind
stopped.
paying those.
Well, Pell's gonna probably close up some of theirs.
I told them, I said, I hope you guys understand what you're getting into. There is one heck of a lot of people that are going to be fighting to use those courts.
Yeah.
So what do you
5,000
know that,
people.
what do you know that the rest of us don't know?
New topic, the $40,000 for Lee County cameras.
Yes, so I did reach out to the sheriff's office. When I approached the subject of, hey, we should be putting the bill, I didn't really get a response back. I told them, I said, if you don't take it on, then we probably will just stop paying it. What he did tell me, and they are going to come to your next meeting, the county, the sheriff's office went away from the flock cameras and they went to a Motorola camera, which is more reasonably priced. And so he was going to get an estimate from the Motorola rep to see and present that to the board. That way, if you don't want to pay $40,000, there's a lesser option, or you don't pay them all and you do away with them.
Well, forgive me, but I missed it. All I heard when they offered it was free.
So it
And that was
was,
the installation. I now got it. But I didn't hear in the back pocket, oh, it's
Backside.
$10,000 a month.
so regarding the free that he mentioned at one of the president council meetings, the county procured 10 of those cameras, and that's why they were free to those certain communities. So somebody paid for them still, but they weren't totally free. So with us, the flock cameras were installed before I started here, but they are to the tune of $40,000. That's why the sheriff was away from those. So we're going to present, they're going to come here, the captain is going to come present the options to you in case you want to nix it or go with a lesser cost.
Did they have any concrete examples of benefits to our residents, that 40 grand?
I asked them to bring those statistics. I will tell you, just off the top of my head, the 7-Eleven robbery that happened a couple months back, they immediately went to those flock cameras in order to catch the license plate and the information of the people that were involved in that. So
No
I'm very
arrests made
concerned
on
about
that.
7-Eleven, but I'm not $40,000 concerned.
I understand. So they will be coming at the August 7th meeting.
Go back to the fields. We've got what we consider an expert giving us the alternative of going artificial. Who is the expert that's giving us the information that we need to hear of what it takes to get those fields back to compare apples and apples of a 15-year life versus a 15-year life? Because the last thing I want, or the thing I'd rather hear now, is that if we go with the current fields and in the cost and price analysis, we put a 7-year out doubling of the cost again to do the fields because they don't make 15-year life. Now, all of a sudden, that totally changes the cost analysis.
Yeah.
We need to have somebody come in here, don't just tell us we can do a park or do a grass or a sod deal for 1.52 million versus 5, when he's going to tell me in 7 years, you're going to spend the 2 million to get it.
Sounds like that.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, I mean, we should be looking at both options.
We are.
Because there are, I mean, there's really good turf out there now that's more resilient. I mean, the turf that they use in JetBlue, I mean, my kid plays, their fields are basically in the overflow parking when it's training season. So when it's training season, they kick all the leagues out and everyone parks their car there for 3 months. And then when it's done, they give it about a month. It bounces back and all the kids come back. I mean, we've never had a problem with it. But they use different turf and they've got whole teams.
You've got drainage over there.
Yeah, they got drainage.
You get drainage.
Yeah.
So we've solicited from the out of
But
county.
who's our authority
We
that
have-
we're going to check with to get the sod side of this cost?
So we're asking the sod side of both vendors. So JSN, who's our current vendor who maintains the fields, who also maintains JetBlue over there, they're giving us proposals, and then the outside firm is giving us another proposal as well.
So we got at least two comparisons.
At least two, I'm looking for.
I just want to
a
make sure that they understand that this is a 15-year analysis, which is the only way it's ever going to work on that artificial side.
Yeah.
Then we need to have the turf side be a 15-year analysis. And if that requires halfway through,
Redoing it.
we redo it, then put that in the analysis and see how the ship floats.
Yeah. We're working. Again, we're super preliminary, but we're working towards that.
Okay. Going back to my cameras,
Okay,
the 40,000 was the Pelican cost, correct?
no, that's total
That's
for everybody.
Total, okay, that's what I was trying to get to. That's what it was Pelican.
It's a shared cost.
Did anybody have anything on any of the capital's the only thing I had a question on. Does anybody have anything else? Obviously, the Pelican deal, we'll know when they come back with their side and what changes they want.
So
But we won't know that until the 21st.
correct. So one of the things that we can do for your next meeting is put together that list of those capital projects, and you guys can hack at it at the next meeting, because I don't want to spend staff time on projects that you're gonna use. So we'll bring that back to you as part of the budget discussion at the next meeting.
Mix for this year.
We're not, yeah,
Now, all of these are parks, correct?
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about different silos or any of that stuff. So you should be able to take all of those, put them all, once you've got them distributed, whether they're a 5-year or a 10-year deal to get the bond. You should be able to put them all in one category and have an idea of what the impact on the rate is.
not
Because it's a one-time
not for
cost.
the proposed year, not for this proposed year. This would be a next year issue.
You mean at 27 instead of?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought if we went for a bond to do this, you're gonna pay that first year's bond regardless.
You what we've done in at least the bond series that we just did, my only bond series.
Are you aware of this deal about the bank?
Well, I heard, I apologize, I lost track of time working on our favorite topic, Santa Luz. But yes, I heard Stephen mention about around to get quotes for 5-year, 10-year borrowing. The 10 years, I sent a text to Chelsea as I was driving, would require validation, or if we can use a prior validation, find room in there to issue a bond series.
My question is, when does the first payment go with this?
Okay,
deal? We're talking about $2 million. So if we would do $2 million of borrowing at 10 years,
It
for example.
depends on what you choose, if you choose a bond series or if you choose a bank, because we have to go
Correct.
to the bank and ask what their terms are.
The banks usually don't require capitalized interest.
Let me make
but
it
the bond.
real easy. Which one requires us to pay at 26?
Well, the capitalized interest is typically part of a bond issue. We have to set that aside. You have capitalized interest that goes over here to ensure you have enough to pay the first year's, at least P&I or interest debt service. Steve, is that correct?
I don't know if he's on.
He's on.
Okay.
So that, yeah, I'm just trying to find out what is our order of magnitude of the amount that we have to add to Park and Rec in 2026?
I suggest Stephen can do that calculation, assuming, based upon the interest rates he articulated for the 10-year borrowing, and figure out what the capitalized interest would be if we were able to tap into a prior validated bond and issue a series under that bond.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, so to Tony's point, the capitalized interest would be included in the bond funds. So those would be set up when that bond is issued. So most likely you would not have an impact. Like Chelsea was saying, the last bond we did, there was no impact for about a year and a half in terms of having to assess additional money that was already in the bond for 2 payments. So most
You're
likely.
including the interest during construction you're capitalizing it into the bond. So if you need 2 million and you gotta have capitalized interest, you just made it 2 million plus.
Right, because this is very simple from the mechanics of this, getting it on a roll, going through the budget process, doing all that
So
stuff.
That can get us to 2027. Okay, I see.
Exactly.
But still be nice to know what the numbers are.
Yep.
Anybody have anything else on,
I'll bring up one other thing. We are wrapping up the last stormwater basin cleaning. Atlantic Southern Pipe started a week or so ago. To my knowledge, this should be the last basin because we've touched every single one since I've been here. I don't know what we're gonna find, truth be told, because Hampton Park is part of this basin and we have not CCTV'd it since turnover. So that could be a factor.
Are you talking about the pipe
The
itself?
stormwater, yes. the pipes.
Stormwater pipes?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's gonna be any large capital repairs for that.
Broken pipes, crushed pipes, that kind of stuff.
Yes, so that is the only other kind of outstanding in the back of my mind, large capital thing that could come up. Knock on wood.
That would be an emergency, though.
Well, I want to make sure, we talking about pipes or the pond structures, banks, embankments and all that?
Pipes.
Pipes,
Just pipes.
pipes.
Like head walls and pipes and.
I would hope that with this being in, what, 10 years? 10, 11 years, we wouldn't have that issue. Was WCI involved?
That was not public information.
Now you know why I'm concerned.
Can you just remind me from a lake bank restoration, we've got how many remaining
Okay.
lakes?
So, under contract, we have, I'm talking Gateway side, I'm not talking Pelican side. We have 2 under contract that are gonna be done next year, and those are both Daniels Preserve. We have, under the HMGP $1 million grant, we are in design of 21 ponds. And those 23 together will finalize that priority list that we set 3 years ago.
The red,
So we would technically
yellow, and
be
orange.
done
Yes.
after that. And we just go on spot
Unless
repairs.
we
Then
went
then
out.
we go back to maintenance, which we never did.
Or, depending what the situation is, look at the ponds that didn't make the first list.
Exactly.
Because now they've
Or-
degraded X number of years.
Or look at the ponds that didn't make the first hit because they were not residential.
Yes.
We got a bunch
Well,
of
whatever it
issues
is,
on
I just-
commercial and golf course.
Well, as residential, I mean, the commercial's really easy for me. We don't do it.
Well, but there's additional conversations, okay?
Yeah, I totally agree.
And then the site here for you, for Public Works, how close are you to designing? We got a solution.
So we're gonna have the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, come back to you guys hopefully at your next meeting. The counties, yeah, I know, cross our fingers, Tony, we've only been working on it for like a year. Once that MOU is in place, we're golden. The design is at 90%. There's a couple minor tweaks. They have to
That's just the building out here.
Yeah, they have to
And we're talking about,
read,
is it modular like this?
exactly, pretty much that mirrored same thing. The only thing is because we changed the site locations, they have to do a little bit of site work determination, so we're gonna be close, but that's already been funded through the 2023 bond series. So we have the funding, the financing to do that.
They do, understanding what we're doing at the basins, and on the last one. If we have a program in place, or have we thought about having a program in place, that once that's complete, once you know what all your pipes are, then we now have a system, we're cleaning the catch basins, the mitered end sections, inspecting them. Because if you do that, we're talking nickels instead of dollars. But if you keep your catch basins and your mitered end sections clean, you'll never get a dirty pipe.
Especially the end section.
Do we have a program? We have it in Pelican, it's worked great. It's about 80 grand a year we pay, something like that. And I want to make sure we do something like that over here. It's not just clean the pipes and you're done.
So, right, as it sits right now, we know what our problem children pipes are, or our inlets are, so we hit those every year before rainy season, we get eyes on those. We are this close to finalizing all of our stormwater pipes and inlets and outfalls and everything in Cartograph. Once it's in there, we will have a legit program and maintenance schedule we can put in place and identify the different assets throughout the entire community.
So you'll know that which catch basin is 3 feet, which one is 6 feet, which one is 8 feet.
Yes.
Well, the other one along that line is that we need a program going around, like we're supposed to be doing, 10% of all of our basins being cleaned annually, especially where the debris goes into them. The most of them all have divider plates. Go in and get those things cleaned.
We started that way.
Our basins are horrible.
We went away from it simply because when you clean the catch basin, everything else just goes away. If you keep them clean, you're good.
That's what you gotta do.
Chelsea, I've got, I don't know how unpopular this is, but our roads are continue to deteriorate at a very high rate, in my opinion. I mean,
When
we
you
get
say
more.
our roads.
Our roads.
When you say
I'm sorry, the
our,
county's roads that
Okay,
reside
thank
within
you.
our community.
Okay, thank
Let me
you.
revise that. The county roads that reside within our community.
and guess why they're dying?
I mean, it's
Our
our
infrastructure.
potholes
Oh,
and
Our trees.
Have we, I know we've talked about it before, and I just cannot recall what, if the county has a plan for any type of surfacing or any type of work.
They have a 5-year and 10-year CIP plan. I don't know that I can go look and see if Gateways and Griffin are on it, but in the meantime, we RFA the heck out of them.
So, and
They
can you
will-
also just send our local councilman a nice little note saying it has come to your attention that there needs to be some additional due diligence done on the quality of the road surfacing in Gateway, and would love his support, and for him to come out and take a look at it, maybe meet with you.
You gotta watch that. That's throwing out a boomerang that I guarantee you is gonna come back.
Come do an assessment
You
and
go down Gateway Boulevard, and the wear and tear of that road is because of our trees. Look at those curves. The curves are in horrible condition. Just as recently as 2 years ago, we did this stuff and did patches.
oh, we did it just
Well,
this
let's,
week.
I would much rather have the county come to me and say, hey, we have a plan on our CIP to resurface your roads. However,
You gotta do this.
here's, okay, well, let's at least sit
That's
down
what
at the
they'll
table and
do.
have that conversation, as opposed to just keeping these potholes and the quality and the curbing, and it's just really.
Gateway Boulevard on the curb side is horrible. Horrible.
And it's just patch after patch after patch.
It's patch after patch.
Okay, that was my soapbox moment.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
The last thing, we talked about possible aeration in the future, we're gonna have a workshop, and we got any scheduled time to do that? Yeah, aeration.
We put it, I think we talked about putting it in January, because staff has to
So
do
it
some,
won't impact next year's budget.
no.
We
We do have some funding available in the bond, remaining for like bathymetric surveys, to get the ball rolling on
That's
those
totally
areas.
separate, okay. As long as we're not gonna do any aeration until we have the workshop,
Correct,
that's fine.
correct.
It would be nice to have the bathymetrics when the ponds were down.
Yeah.
But the thing we've got is we still haven't, unless somebody's doing it behind the scenes, we've got to have FPL get out here and tell us what this is, what this entails as far as they're providing power, because right now, over at Gateway and Gateway Greens, we have gone out with them on several issues, and they just sit there and say, the transformer isn't big enough, transformer isn't big enough. I mean, they have got absolutely no growth in those transformers at all.
That is happening behind the scenes, which is why so we've got the trunk line ponds identified. We've got what we believe the transformers to be identified, so staff is
So
going to
somebody been out doing it, because I've not seen anybody, at least on my street, and I know I'm gonna have a transformer deal in my backyard.
We've got to get a meeting with FPL to sit down and go over that. That's why I think we asked, like, give us some time and let's talk about it in January. So,
Okay.
Anybody have anything else on, the budget workshop?
No, we didn't do much. So we did version 5.
We got a lot of ideas. Okay, well, let's do this. We'll adjourn the budget workshop at 2:55 and reconvene at 3 o'clock at the normal meeting.
You like that?
Can we watch baseball?
Please,
Ready?
let's call the July 17th meeting of the Gateway Services CDD and pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, let the record show that all board members are present except our chairperson, who will be here shortly. Get in and out of the rain. Approval of final agenda. Do we have any additional changes or we have a motion to approve for a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public comment, how many do we have?
I have two. I had two.
Did you get yours in?
Yes, I have two. I have an agenda and two non-agenda. It doesn't matter. I can't make the time. We're using that later. You don't need to put that in. First one is Tom Murphy regarding, from Stony Brook regarding agenda item 11A, reminder of 3 minutes.
And I'll be short and sweet. We have,
Please announce yourself.
my name is Tom Murphy. I represent Stony Brook. We're here on item 11A, agenda item 11A. We're requesting relief from the availability fees that have been attached to 2 properties. One is property B, which has 0 egress for anybody to get to. It's surrounded by homeowner property, so nobody can get to that. It seems logical to me and a simple thing that you would just, you wouldn't look to charge it some availability fee. The other property, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is the one that's across the street. I think it's B14. And at one point, I think the association, before I was on it, was going to give it to you guys, and it didn't get voted in favor of that. But that property is outside of our community, as you know. It is a kind of disjunctive sort of property. It abuts the landfill and a preserve, and it's not going to be developed, not at least by the association. And we would request, respectfully, of course, that, those fees that we're going to be charged, which on both of those properties total about $1,700 a year, be waived. And I believe that it should be in your packet. I submitted a request in writing so that you can consider it. So that's why I'm here. And I would hope that you would vote in favor of us, and that's all I have.
Tom, this is the property that's basically is the buffer between the houses and Gateway Boulevard, correct?
Yeah.
And it's a long linear deal that wraps around the
Never
lake
developed.
and comes down undeveloped.
It's-
I don't know how
It'll never be
it could
developed.
ever be developed.
Yeah, it won't.
No.
What I'm worried about is that, do we have this, Tony, in other places? And why would we have an availability fee that we would want to assess properties that are not available? They aren't available. I can see an unavailability fee, but not an availability fee.
Yeah.
How did this ever happen?
If I recall correctly, I can be corrected. I thought we had a good discussion a couple times at board meetings where the items came up and we had various parcels and tracts to identify the ones that we thought, so that's my recollection. So Leslie had done a comprehensive analysis of the parcels that we thought would be appropriate for the availability fee. And I thought we brought that to the board.
We did.
The actual, I think we had tracts identifying maps and graphics too.
I'm
I may be mistaken
I
about
think we
that.
identified a couple, we just never actions to remove them from the structure.
I'm all for availability fees where there's availability, but just to generate revenue, I don't think that's.
So there is I don't know if you want to address this now, or if you want to wait for the agenda item later. Okay. Just for the,
We understand what you're talking
Okay,
about.
thank you.
just so you know, Flavia is on. She can't join teams because of traffic, but she's here. If you need anything.
I buy it.
Make a motion.
Hi. We got 5 minutes or so.
Who's that?
You have to make a motion to Laura. All right, second one is Sherry Schiller regarding soccer fields, AstroTurf versus lawn, medical. Please state your name for the record, and you got 3 minutes.
Sherry Schiller, and this is a little out of order. I heard you talking about the soccer fields. I have some information from my previous life. I'm now just a grandma who volunteers with children, and I'm a child advocate. And I'd like to talk about the difference between artificial turf versus natural grass. It's considered detrimental to children to be repetitively playing on artificial turf. It's considered really bad in their joints, in their breathing systems, and many other things as they grow. The latest information is it is 100% better for the children to be on natural turf. Now, get this, anybody that has an artificial turf company is going to tell you how great it is. And when you get bids for grass, anybody, so my suggestion is, Mr. Banks, you had a good idea. When you said your children use the soccer fields over by JetBlue, those are working. They're using grass over there, and they last and they work. So why not look at what they're using, what type of grass, what type of lawn, will it work here? Or if not that, what would? Because I really feel that for the children's growth and well-being, it's not good to put artificial and have their little joints and big joints pounding on that stuff. It's not done very much anymore. It's old school because of the long-term effects. But that's just my grandma, and I advocate for children, and I don't own any companies, and I'm not going to make money on it. So that's just for my 2 cents, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
All right, finally, we have Rod Senior with a non-agenda. Reiner, 3 minutes.
Don't start yet, please.
I won't tell you.
I'm contending with all this noise out there. Very nice, thank you for that. My item is
Please just announce yourself.
Rod Senior Gateway Greens. My item is soccer fields. Annual O&M is $485,000. AstroTurf and floodlights together is likely to cost around $5 million. Spread over 15 years at 6%, that's $500,000 a year in debt service. It might not be 6%, I don't know what you guys might get up with the bond, but that's ballpark. So the total tax burden on the Gateway and Pelican Preserve residents, now you're paying, is going on to $1 million a year if we go ahead with this. Consider the economics for the users of these fields. For prominent users being flag football and the Gateway Soccer Association. Gateway Soccer Association have got 800 players, or at least they used to when I was on the board a few years ago. 800 players, half of which don't live in Gateway. They pay $350 a year per child. 2 seasons. So $350 times 800 is $280,000 revenue going into the GSA. The rent that GSA pays to CDD was $32,000. I'm guessing it's maybe $50,000. We're not sure at this point. Kits are sponsored totally. They have to pay for some officials and some referees. But that being said, it's a tidy money earner for a private entity like that. It's a lopsided arrangement because we taxpayers are holding the cost burden. It's not that the families aren't paying enough for soccer. The problem is that the revenue generated from the operations is not going into our cash register, but it's going into the cash register of the user. So GSA becomes a transparent cost center, while the users are an opaque, privately held profit center. Doug, I'm trying my hardest to support your ongoing initiative to promote family sports in Gateway, I really am. But there has to be a breaking point in terms of how much money we can spend to support it. Same goes for the new park at the Gateway Commons. I'm not sure security and O&M costs have really been considered too much at this point. Here's my suggestions. Establish a more transparent relationship with the principal users where we can openly share costs and revenue data. Review our field sports policy. Can we introduce a wider array of sports, including baseball, lacrosse, football and soccer, which is fairer? Next, focus our investment now on Gateway Commons, 20 acres, with new admin building and the Phase 1 park. This might be a good time to move our field sports operations there in a scaled down manner That would bring down the huge annual cost hurdle that the staff is struggling to match with rental income. It would also allow us to retire the existing soccer fields and repurpose them to render a big financial win without losing our existing sports programs. Sherman's legacy could be honoured in some way by erecting a plaque or a bench. Please let's think outside the box before rushing into a capital decision on floodlights and AstroTurf that we will be saddled with for 15 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this time. We have no other public comments?
Anything online?
Nope, nothing online, I don't have any emails to read.
No. Any local achievements or recognition?
Yes, if she were here today, like what we did with Julie, we would be celebrating Elle's retirement. She's been with the district 18 years. She was hired March 8th, 2007. Her last day with the district
July 31st.
is July 31st. We do intend on having a small celebration here with staff and a small luncheon. But we wish her nothing but the best on her next chapter in life. And I know she's already got some plans to travel and go do a couple things that are on her bucket list. So we really appreciate everything that she's brought to the district over her years. I know she's seen a lot come and go, staffing, she really watched this place grow, Gateway grow, build over time. So I just want to mention that to you.
31st, isn't it?
Yes, sure, 31st of this month, yep. So just.
Is that when the party or goodbye or whatever it's gonna be?
Yeah.
So if we want to copy.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Did you have?
I don't have an actual email. I know that I got a Teams message from Angela earlier today. There was a landscaping issue with a large branch that was in a place that he was having a hard time figuring out how to get it cut down. Isaac actually brought it to Angela's attention, and Isaac took it upon himself to go out and help Angela cut it down. So we had some cross-department cooperation. So I think it's great that staff called out a recognition on other staff. We don't usually get that at the field level. So I wanted to make sure that I called it out. Angela wanted to make sure that he gave a kudos to Isaac for going out of his way to help him take care of that branch issue today.
That doesn't surprise me with Isaac.
No, but
That
I mean, we don't
surprised me.
normally get staff recognizing other staff. So I wanted to make sure I called that out. Besides Chelsea and I.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. Advisory committee items and reports, anything here?
If anybody has any questions about these reports?
Move to accept the reports.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Approval of minutes. Any minutes anybody wants to pull or any questions? Motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
I'm making, I was asking. You make the motion to approve, you'll second? Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda items, any on here to be pulled? Most of them are Pelican Preserve, so I'm looking at you guys with the exception of one of them.
Move on agenda items 9A, B, C, and D.
I don't want to pull B, but I do have a question on it.
Yeah, I had questions.
How does, I understand what we're doing because I'm doing the same thing, but how is the guy signing off on property he doesn't own? I understand the, what do you call it, not monuments, the stonework that's on his yard.
Yeah.
But one of those, two of those aren't even on his property. Are we, who's signing off? Are we the board signing off that we consent to that on the ones that are on our property?
That's your call tonight.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Well, I just want to make sure that's what we were doing.
Mike, bear with me, I guess the question is from this, it doesn't show that the, well.
Go to exhibit C.
Yeah, I'm looking at the exhibit, I'm looking at the survey.
Can you pull that up?
Yeah, I'm looking at the.
Property survey.
All County Surveyor. And which portion are you talking about? Are you talking on the west side?
West side, yeah.
The west side
Yes.
indicates that's a water management tract.
That's my point. Yeah, it's ours. That's why I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, because we're going to be doing that in a couple of other places. I just want to make sure what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, no, we're allowing those to be on the district's water management tract. That's part of the program. Okay.
What we're doing by this, and I don't have any problem with it, I think it makes sense. The issue is I just don't want to come back and have this be problematic on another deal where it may not be as clear, because this thing's 17 feet out into a 20-foot LME. But I don't have any problem with it, I just want to make sure I understood it, because the property owner is signing this, and he's the only one. What I'm doing over at Gateway is I'm signing it along with the property owner.
Correct.
For the
Because it-
HOA, because it's on ours.
Yes.
So, okay.
So if you approve this, then we're granting consent for them to keep the planters within that water.
Within the water management as well as his utility easement up front.
Yep.
And then there's the, FME, is that ours? No, it's not ours.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't, I just was trying to figure out is that, are we accepting his signature for something that he doesn't own? Because that's not his property that he's signing for right there.
Well, no, we're allowing him to encroach into the two easements.
We're allowing him to.
Utility easement up front and water management easement on the west.
I take it by our acceptance of this, we're consenting with that.
That's what the agreement provides.
Flavia has a question before. Go ahead, Flavia.
So, trying to look at this survey on the park, but how, I remember visiting a location. I was concerned about two of the planters because they were really close to the pond. Like, has Tetra said anything regarding how close they are? Because they look fairly new. I don't think that's something that it was there for a long time. So.
Tetra Tech?
Do they have any concerns about how close, like the two, I know two of them are super close to the pond.
So Tetra Tech reviewed those as part of the construction of that pond that we just completed. And the contractor and Tetra Tech had no concerns at the time because they were able to work around it. So that's kind of the stance that we took. If the contractor was able to mobilize around it and do the complete reconstruction, then, you know, it's.
That was my impression at the very beginning, that they could work around it.
Yeah.
That was a side issue, not a pond issue.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the other thing I wanted to make sure is that we were accepting this with the knowledge that we got the planters in our.
That's exactly right, and again, if you look, and looking at the form of the documents, let me go back to the actual easement agreement, easement use agreement itself says we can, if it's in our way, we can have them remove it or remove it ourselves.
In the future.
In the future, that's right. He said in paragraph 3, he has to remove it upon our written request. It's in sole cost and expense, and if he doesn't, we've got a right to do that.
So we haven't waived that.
Oh, no.
In the future.
Okay, we have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through D. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
All right, Tetra Tech update.
District engineer, who we got on board?
Steven.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Stephen Agapi, Tetra Tech District Engineer. Can you all hear me okay today?
Yeah, is it storming down there at your place?
It just stopped raining, and I can hear thunder in over the microphone on your end, so you guys must be getting the brunt of it.
Yeah, it's coming through the door.
Yeah, it's new nice microphones.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Stephen, just one second, I know Doug just left, but I just want to point out to the board that consent items C and D both resulted in cost reductions.
Say it again.
It's the two consent items were the conservation areas, we redid those, and our aeration and fountain maintenance, both of those, the new bids are less than we were currently paying.
Yeah.
And that's the trend you want to go in, not the automatic inflation. I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Let the record show that Flavia's here physically now.
Go ahead, Steven.
What if I split it, like by totally?
There you go, Doug.
All right. Good to go?
Yep.
Alrighty. Irrigation pump station generator, our contractor mobilized to the site on Monday. They've got locates in. We had our first progress meeting on site this week, and they started some minor construction work. They started with trench excavation. The generator is on site, and their schedule goes through September right now to get that project completed, the installation of that standby emergency generator for the irrigation pump station. The irrigation force main improvements project, we're just waiting for all of our funding agencies to come through with their reviews to let us know what money we have to work with. Lower Hawthorne Well, that project is getting close to the end. We're scheduling a startup of the well. There's some minor restoration work that is left to be done on that project. The Gateway Utility Storage Building, the contractor has to complete some items including restoration, close out their building permit, and punch list items and electrical. The Gateway Admin Building, OAK is working on the foundation. They're fighting weather currently, just trying to keep their trenches dry for the footings. They're also working on installing piping and conduit beneath the foundation. Earthwork, I believe, is complete at the sports courts, and I think the next item over, related to that would be the playground getting installed, which may have already happened. I think it's on site. Phase 2, Year 2 lake bank restoration. These projects have been closed out. They just got added on here on accident. This was a draft, and there's some miscommunication between me and Eric before this got finalized and sent to the board for review, so my apologies there. FY24 Lakes Construction Management, that project, we're waiting on MRI to complete the punch list. They've notified us today that it is complete, so we're going to go out there and verify all those items have been addressed before we issue final. FY25 Lake Bank Construction Management, same story here. We're working through the punch list items on these 4 lakes. There are 2 additional lakes associated with this project that are on hold until the end of rainy season, which is TBD currently. Lake Bank Restoration HMGP, this is 21 lakes for the future. Those are currently in preliminary design. We have surveyors out there right now. We're waiting to get our first batch of information from the surveyors to move forward with design. The Public Works Storage Building, we're starting surveying in geotech. So that's pretty much where we're at there. This is the relocation site plan. Not sure why that one's on there. I think one of these TAs is associated with the parking lot expansion at the old dog park, which Chelsea has been patiently waiting for a change order from Eric, which we should have to her next week. Gateway's Commons Park and Admin Building, we talked about that. FGUA, they have planned for a final walkthrough tomorrow. We've already done a walkthrough on all of our punch list items, so we think everything's complete on Gateway's end. We're just waiting for record drawings and for them to complete the project on their end, some paperwork items. Lake 109 Golf Course, that one's been done for a while. CCTV sewer, we've received 67% of the work that's been scheduled to be completed. That has been inspected and we have reviewed it. So there's approximately 30% left of the sewer to be inspected and reviewed. CCTV storm, the contractor's been a little slower, but they are working through it. We are waiting for our first deliverable to review. Boardwalk, that shouldn't be on there either. That's been completed. That's in Public Works hands now. Staff gauge is another project with Public Works, and we've been assisting Paul and Stephanie on that. That's just to add staff gauges throughout the district where the old ones are kind of worn out and need to be replaced, and where staff sees fit to add new ones. Miscellaneous GIS assistance. We are currently helping the district update their GIS for Public Works, utilities, and general assets. For the Public Works section, we're waiting on Passarella to complete their work and then hand it off for us to incorporate. Utilities, we're working through right now, along with general items. Pelican Lakes 47 and 48, those are complete, and we approved a final payment on those, so those are going to get closed out before the next time we have a meeting. Those look really good. Development updates, Arborwood Phase 3, we're working through a punch list on the stormwater side. We just sent them an updated list last week, so we're waiting for them to address all those comments. Daniels Parkway Apartments. We sent them our comments from the last submittal, and we're working through the well agreement and the upsizing agreement with legal, with Tony's help. Santa Luz, Tony and I were talking today. He was asking me for some information that is going to be useful to him, so I'm helping him through that. And maybe he has a better update on that one. Garrett FM, the potable water line has been flushed, pressure tested, and is currently undergoing back T testing after being disinfected. So soon the potable line will be cleared. And as you can see, they're moving right along with vertical construction. Those are all the updates that I have. If anyone has any questions, be happy to answer.
Yeah, this is Bob. One question. The mill resurface for Pelican Reserve Boulevard from tree line to the four-way stop. Have we made progress on that? Are we out for bids or engineering study? And will it include all the paving?
Yep. Chelsea recently asked for a TA on that, so that's in our hands right now to provide a scope of services for her review.
It's a TA. That's going to have all the paving and everything that's required. Okay.
And that'll go to safety and security, mill and resurface, and then evaluating the curbing, because we want to touch that, and then that'll go to safety and security, and then PPAC, and then.
So go through the normal. It was on his list, that's why.
Yeah, because we wanted to get their TA going now so they could start the design work and then bidding, and then by the time we actually get to construction, will be after Easter.
But we're hoping it's done next year.
Oh, it will be.
Calendar
Oh, yeah, it will be. Yeah. That's why we started now, and that's why you also see on there, the pond 46 is then starting to draft the TA until Ponds tells us otherwise. Anything else for Stephen? Okay, thank you, Stephen.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Tuesday drive.
All right, so go ahead and move to admin agenda items. You're gonna go ahead and take 11A.
So like Tom mentioned earlier, handful of months ago, we went through and re-upped our utility rules, evaluated the availability fee as part of that. We identified a slew of parcels throughout the district that were being charged availability fees, weren't being charged availability fees, and then with that updated rule, we went in and we started charging everybody the availability fees for the EAU, yes?
The board adopted a policy.
Yes.
Okay, you said rule, but not the policy.
Oh, policy, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Implement the revisions to the rule.
Yes. So it's about, I think for the two parcels, I think it's what, $200? Yeah. So there are a handful of parcels that other HOAs are paying as well, but Stony Brook is looking for relief for these two. So we're looking to you to let us know what you want to do.
I just don't think this is right at all. If we made a mistake and overlooked it the last time, I think we ought to correct it. This should be waived in any other community that is being assessed availability fees for unavailable property. To me, is ridiculous. We don't need that revenue. We don't need to do this to people. It's not right.
Okay, so how are we, I have a problem with both. One, I agree with you, and the other one I wouldn't. So B14 specifically, I wouldn't agree to waiving, because it was just not long ago that their board didn't want to sign that over to us because they were thinking about selling that property. So us.
So
that one, I wouldn't.
Selling and developing.
But my question is it?
Well, selling to develop. That, if they're selling, I mean, we don't know what the buyer is going to do.
There's my argument is
the one that's around the pond, I mean, clearly you can develop that. But B14, it's something that they were very vocal about it. We went through the whole process where both parties spend money. We as a district spend money. They spend money, and at the end they pulled out for that specific reason, because it was going to be at one point looking into a dollar generating for that community.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so,
yeah. So then that eliminates the issue of it being not available. It is available.
B14.
So that's subjective.
So
Whether it's developable or not, that's subjective, or what their intention is. That piece of land has been vacant for ever.
So from a staff perspective, the point of an availability fee is that if if, we don't know, if anything ever is constructed there in the future, or if they want to put irrigation, even with whatever service, that the district has available waters that we can provide to that parcel. So they have the opportunity and the availability to tie into our system, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct. There's a definition, I don't have it in front of me, of availability fee in the rules that says basically the service is available to the parcel. And this is part of the carrying cost of that to operate and maintain that particular line that's available for them.
And obviously, if they ever constructed, the availability fee would go away and they
Yes.
would pay their typical
I
meter.
don't have any trouble with any of that as long as it meets the smell test that it's available and it can be built on. That along there cannot be built on. There's no way.
So who makes that determination? From a
We-
staff perspective, that is
We
where.
do. I think that if that's our board's decision, I have absolutely no problem of saying that, hey, and in my opinion, that is not developable.
What's
Or
the
that
first
is-
one called?
There are two tracks,
A10.
I believe.
Yeah, what are the two tracks?
B14 is the one I'm
and
talking about.
I think B14 is on the west side of Stony Brook, or B2 Boulevard.
B and B14.
B14 is on the west side of the road.
What's the other one? Tom?
B2?
Just B.
Oh, just B?
B2.
B2,
is
I
what
think
it
it's
sounds
B2.
like.
B2 for me is an absolute no-brainer.
I agree totally.
B14,
I totally agree with that. B14, just because, and I tried to reach out to JT, but I know he's he's not in town. And then I did look back at the meetings. It's actually when we had the both meetings here. Do you
Yes.
recall that?
We're all sitting around the table here, I think.
Exactly, so that's the reason why I'm like, okay, now it's not when the intention it was.
What is B2 designated as? I know we don't
I
have.
think it's
zoning.
landscape buffer, I believe, I might be on the plat, it might be a buffer track. I believe that's what it's intended to be.
I could see even going that, we hold it as a gotcha and we collect it if and when it's ever built, if we think that's gonna happen. But right now, collecting money on that hasn't happened, and turning off there to create a developable piece of property was slim and none.
Yeah.
Well, you have
Slim and
to
none.
keep in mind, I'm struggling with developable,
it's tough.
and we're talking available water. That's all we're contemplating, is that there's the
What would it be
availability.
available for if it's not developable?
If they choose to put a drinking fountain there, if they choose to put,
Yeah.
so it is,
Let's do something that'll pass a smell test. That doesn't pass a
Yeah,
smell
to me-
test, not to the residents.
So what she's saying is the definition is, at any point, if water needed to be available, that's what the accessibility is.
I have them come back and pay them later.
we can only go back 5 years at that point.
May I be able to go back
I
to
can't even with a straight face look at that piece of property as being developed or available for development.
Well, and
Me too, I
again,
guess.
recall, it's available for water, wastewater, or irrigation. And so if you have an area that's gonna be irrigated, those are the lines that are available to that property to be connected to by the property owner. And the fact that they don't choose to, there's still there's a cost to carry, administrative costs, et cetera, for those lines to be operated and maintained.
What was
That's the
dollar-
rationale.
What was the dollar value annually? $1,046 for that?
Is 17 and change.
1,700.
Oh, B2's only.
I think it's total, yeah, it's between
That's
two.
the total.
Yeah,
The
two
total
properties.
1,700.
The two
Yeah.
together are
Yeah.
1,700, yeah. Okay.
You have B14 in there, Just I didn't.
Yeah.
That's in the, trying to retrieve it.
So you want to
There it is.
separate them? Get rid of B2 and
I
B17?
would,
That sounds
because I
reasonable to me.
mean, B2, I totally agree with that. I don't think.
I agree with B2.
Even though I understand what Tony's saying, like if later on they want to put irrigation and there's just all they needed it, but I'm willing to just,
And
Let them
I
back.
see what you're saying. I would almost look, regardless of what Stony Brook said, why they didn't want to hand it over, not hand it over, if they think they're gonna sell it, okay, whatever. But there's been nothing done. There is no projection of anything happening in the future. I would much rather just waive both of them. And if they do sell the property, then we've got 5 years.
They've been saying it for years, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to.
I don't see why they would not take B2 out of it. Go with,
yeah.
keep B17.
I'm just saying, I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm taking their word for it. They had a different board that didn't have, you know, the area wasn't maintained, so I have to give them credit. So they changed a lot of things. They have a different vision, and the vision that stands now, this was a very high possibility. I would have split those, B2, I would have definitely waived it. Don't have a problem because I don't think, and if they want to put irrigation, we just go back 5 years. For B14, it's questionable to me.
So from a staff perspective, again, not being subjective, we're looking at the rule, and what the rule says, staff is recommending that you continue to assess availability fees. So that is looking.
I will make a motion to waive B2, assessment and retain B14.
And I'll second your motion. Go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Carries.
We will make those adjustments accordingly.
And I would say, let's look at any other community that's got something as ridiculous as B2 is.
Mainly to me is access. If there is no
Yeah,
access,
there's no
that's
access.
like, that's a clear, you know, but let them come to us
Tom said a comment on that if anything's done on Gateway Boulevard, you talk about an area that's vulnerable, that area is going to be gone. I mean, that's easy pickings to be able to do that road winding. Yeah, not going to be developed.
11B.
Stephen Bloom.
Okay, good afternoon. Today we have the third quarter, September 30th financials and overview for you. That puts you 75% through the year with one quarter left to go. Kind of starting with your revenue, a lot of solid numbers to report. About 99% of all your assessments have been collected through June. And you can see here across the board, most of your revenue is actually exceeded your budget. Most of that is due to interest, which we'll kind of go over at the bottom of this page. But really good numbers to report. In terms of your utility billing, you're at about 80%. So again, above what was budgeted. And again, that's, you know, it's a good sign that we are basically been able to kind of maximize what we had budgeted and get the revenue in for assessments. Kind of looking at spending, the other side of the equation here, when you look down there at the kind of the midway through the page, you know, again, you know, 75% would be right on budget, and you can see, except for a small amount for Stony Brook, the rest of them are running right now under budget. And again, there's still a quarter left to go, and there's certainly, you know, projects that are in the pipeline are being worked on. But you know, as far as where you are through the third quarter from the spending side, it looks good. You know, it's kind of below budget with what we would like to see. You can see the breakdown. We always will put the, you know, in the right there, you can see kind of the breakdown of the spending and where it's occurring. Again, operations is about 37% of the total, the highest capital. But numbers look really good in terms of spending. And then as you go further down in the page is where we've talked about interest before, but right now, and you can see the breakdown by funds, about 866,000 of interest has been generated for the first 3 quarters. Again, with 1 quarter left to go. And you can see by funds, you know, like the general fund has got 193,000, Pelican Preserve 130, the enterprise fund 133,000. And then even the capital, which again, for the capital, we talked about that as well during the budget stuff in terms of that. All of this earnings, we're very conservative when we do the budget. So, you know, any of this money that comes in certainly helps with future projects, other projects where there might be some expansion that needs to be done. It's just good to be able to maximize your resources and get some interest on it. We still are maintaining your carryover amount. Obviously, we're now heading into the stretch run for 2025, and then we will calculate a new carryover amount for you and do basically the same thing. But all in all, you know, very solid numbers as we head into the final quarter.
Questions for Stephen?
Stephen, have you been online the whole time?
I think I missed a couple minutes in the first part of the workshop, but
Just the juicy part that Chelsea gave us, the early
Well-
Christmas present of a 16% increase and a 12 increase from Lee County. We need to get your opinion looking at that. Those numbers are outlandish for just assessments that we're paying for unless we get some skin in the game. To what extent do we need to be asking somebody for documentation to justify those increases to a, I want to call a large volume user, what is it, bulk user? Is that what we're calling,
Yep.
bulk user? What is the advantage of being a bulk user if we're going to pick up the tab for every Tom, Dick, and Harry's expenses?
well, in the past, they used to provide a nice breakdown. I mean, I
That's
say
what I
nice,
thought.
but they used to provide
What
a
happened to that
breakdown.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, I've not looked at the agreement in a while. I also thought there was a formula in the back.
There was a formula.
That had to be utilized, and they did, and Rob Ward would always do that, and our originals, and it happened to be the same rate consultant, Raptellis, for both the county and for the district. But I thought, and I haven't looked at that agreement in a while, but I thought there was a formula in the back.
There is.
And I don't know if they've used that formula, if we need to ask them to verify and apply the formula to whatever numbers they've sent to Chelsea. So Chelsea, we can send Stephen Bloom and I whatever communications you have from the county and whatever rate study they have.
And Tony, I think, as I recall, there was a breakdown for the plants versus the distribution and or collection
That's my
system.
recollection also.
Yes.
But I can be wrong. Stephen, you recall that?
Yep, I agree. We used to get that. And then especially when they did the final true ups each year, they would provide.
Yes, that's when we saw it.
It's an attachment, and the agreement references the formula, the calculation.
Yeah, well, this has gotten serious. That means in the next 6 years, we're talking 100%
I
increase.
heard that on the way up.
That's ridiculous.
I'll follow
No
up.
utility does
Tony,
that.
yes, I'll send you the communications. I do have the rate study from Raptellis that the county has provided, so I can, and Ed, if you'd like to read it too, I can send you that.
If you can send it to Stephen
Yeah.
and myself, and then we'll have a huddle up next week about the agreement and.
There hasn't been an
check it as the
amendment, has
formula. Pardon?
There hasn't been an amendment to that
No, no, sir.
deal.
No, we do pay a percentage of the capital repairs for this treatment plant, but,
And we should.
yeah,
Like I said, that's what the formula addresses.
yeah. We
That formula's long.
Oh, yeah.
It's
We've
long.
already had our true up meeting with the county regarding last year's numbers, and so, we meet with them every year, and anytime rates start to come up, Rich knows I call him up and say, what's going on?
See, where I have a problem, especially on sewer, on the sewer side, is that our collection system serves nobody else.
Oh, it's right.
So they have not, we do not use one single component of their sanitary sewer collection
Yeah, my
system to
understanding-
get the water into that treatment
My
plant.
understanding is their wastewater plant here services the airport, services probably next door to Timber Creek
Yeah.
and others. And that was the whole reason for the county, one of the biggest reasons the county wanted to acquire the site and the property was to help service the airport area, the commercial areas along Daniels,
Yeah.
and to avoid any zoning issues and everything else. That was part of the rationale at the time.
My point is that the distribution or the calculation of water versus sewer are totally different in that the treatment plant's located right here in the middle of our community. So we don't have to have our sewage go through anybody else's pipes. Don't even touch them. Nor does anybody else's come through our pipes. So that distribution or collection system should be totally not even on the books for calculation.
And that's part of what we
I'll get this study.
would need to look
I'll get the
at.
study. I have it, I'll just send it to you all. All right, anything else for Stephen Bloom regarding the financial, quarterly financial?
One question, I might be more appropriate for Lauren and Steve. But in looking at the investment chart, investment by earnings, general fund 193, Pelican 130, is that what shows up in the 04 revised budget as investment interest?
In the budget, that's what we.
Within revised 4 budget, very first page for 01, says investment interest, and for 26, we got 175,000.
That's what we project for next year.
Okay,
in that
it's coming
report.
based on-
This is actual.
Based on the actuals,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so the answer is yes. Based on where we are at 3/4 of the year,
Yes,
we made projections. Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for Stephen? All right, thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Take care.
Alright, so, budget discussion?
Back to budget. Anybody have anything?
Anything more?
Anything more?
I don't.
Just get the capital stuff so that we know what we're looking at.
District manager items to report, monthly reports. Anything for me? Admin? I didn't have anything. Public works?
Anything? Public Works?
Oh, I did have one, I'm sorry. The monthly report, very first page.
For public works or for Laura?
I'm on page 422. My
Okay, tell me what
question-
the item, tell me what it is and I'll tell you what it, yeah.
Well, it's a memorandum, and it says Public Works,
Public works, okay.
Public Works.
or June monthly report, yeah, Public Works.
Okay.
The very first item, the bond standard model. Any progress on that?
Yeah, actually this week, Stephanie's gonna meet with, no, tomorrow. What's his name? Oh my gosh.
Doug?
Peter.
No,
Peter.
Peter, thank you,
Dr.
Peter.
Audette.
Yes, and then we're gonna have a follow-up, internal conversation next week, and we're gonna try to get it on the next pond subcommittee meeting so they can take a first stab at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
And this is a district-wide
yes, ma'am.
policy.
Yep, we took the
With the aim
two,
of hopefully
yeah, we
consolidate.
took the two and merged them together, and then we hacked at it, and then Pons is gonna hack at it, and then you're gonna hack at it, and then hopefully we'll have an updated
Like that.
Okay.
hacked document.
And on the Public Works maintenance page, it said the Pelican Reserve Boardwalk, the crews have installed the ADA compliant bollards, yada, 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 and the reflective tape. The only comment I have on that is there used to be a sign on the CN entrance saying basically that the boardwalk, you have to be ADA compliant to be on it, but I'd like to have that returned. Whatever the right language would be for that,
Okay,
because we haven't degraded it.
okay,
Thank you.
we'll work on it.
Only thing I had for Paul is, we're checking it out right now, but it's another good example of when you're doing the storm projects. We had water backing up into a house over in the high rent district in Hampton Park. And what we believe happened, and the neighbor saw it, didn't say anything at the time, but a drain inlet that went out into the lake wasn't repaired or wasn't fixed, and we're now trying to chase to find out where the water's coming. But that's why if they're going to, in the future.
Pipe was plugged.
I'm
That's
sorry.
working about.
Well, no, what needs to be happening is that if we're doing this and when we're doing the plans, we annotate on the as-bills that we plugged the line up. We won't have to be out and doing a goose chase right now to find it, but it's another good example that there's never a dead pipe.
So we plugged it intentionally while we were doing something.
I imagine somebody looked at it and didn't think it served anything, and for the last 6 months, it's been drier than you know what, and so that had been a problem. Well, now we're getting all this rain, and the water is coming up in their lanai.
Gotcha.
And the lanai's tied into, I believe, a roof drain, and the roof drain looks like it goes straight out to the lake. And the neighbor said, well, there was like a bubble up out there, but they didn't fix it. So I have a feeling somebody just thought it was inactive or dead. But we'll get that fixed, but,
Tomorrow.
Yes, there's been a lot of lessons learned, so we know what we need to do moving
it
forward.
happens all the
Right.
time. And then as much problems as we've had over in Gateway Greens on Pond 109, I'm hearing a lot of really good comments coming back about how the project finished up. It looks fantastic.
It's scary when you did that, I was like, what?
The fence isn't built yet, but everything else is done at the water level. Today is the first day the weir was crested. Finally went over. So as much as there was the belly aching, they all think it looks pretty nice
So
now.
Ed, thanks for the segue. Paul and Stephanie have been working hard on, I won't call it a policy, I won't call it a rule, because that's kind of up in the air right now, but kind of mirroring.
She looks at me.
Yeah, I know. Daggers. We've identified erosions directly due to downspouts, and so we're going to be coming in front of you with kind of a policy or rule or some type of direction, kind of mirroring what Pelican has done with bubblers and tying in and things like that. So will be coming in front of you in the next meeting. I hate to be spending millions of dollars on these ponds and have
Agreed, 4 years later.
washout.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Chelsea, when I first saw the first iteration of it, I paused, but then.
You hacked it, it's okay.
But then I sent her an example from another community.
Yeah.
That the main operative difference is, and it would work better in Pelican Preserve as well as in each individual association and gateway, because they have the association also actively involved in it.
Yeah.
And it's a CDD down in Collier County where they had substantial problems with similar kind of issues. And so they adopted a policy that was very comprehensive, comparable to what Paul and Chelsea, Stephanie prepared, but it involved the association, integrally involved working with the district. So I think there's a way to craft a similar document and get the buy-in.
So
association.
that's one, Stephanie's identified a handful of large erosions that need to be repaired, and I hate to make the repair and not fix the underlying issue, so.
Where are these at?
Villages of Stony Brook, right?
Yes, Village of Stony Brook.
Yeah, so, anyway, we'll be bringing that back to you as a discussion here in the next, probably your next meeting, so. But anything else for Paul?
I don't have anything on the report, but I do just a few call outs.
Sure.
If you can take a look at an oak tree that is on the corner of Griffin and Gateway Boulevard, across from 7-Eleven. During the roundabout project, it looked like it was going to die. It was pretty bad shape. I think we just need to.
I don't even know how that made it through construction.
Exactly, so I think we need to pull that one, that's one. Two, there's an area in front of Silver Lakes, and I think this one we have to contact the county. The sidewalk is actually holding water for about 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
It's just an I don't know, I think it just needs to be pulled. There's nothing wrong with the sidewalk, but just the slope of it is backwards, that drainage, yes. And then, do we know what Lee County is doing on the corner of Gateway Boulevard and Griffin? Where we have that camera, because I noticed they had both bucket trucks there today.
I think they were just working on the signals, the crosswalk signals.
It was an electrical truck there.
Because it was Lee County staff.
It was, that's why I saw that was Lee County. I just wanted to know what it was.
They were when I came through, they were working on the flashers.
Did that follow up, because was that where the electrical failure was, July 4th afternoon? We had a 2-hour outage, and they said it was a transformer right there at that intersection. Could that thing get shorted out?
They wouldn't have touched the.
Right, that would be it, you
It
know.
was a switch gear.
That was what?
It was line between switch gears for FPL. Yeah, but we had 7 stations go down.
Yeah, everything went down around.
Anything else for Paul, Public Works?
No.
All right,
Very good, thank you.
we got Mr. Shaw for utilities. Anything for Bill?
Are they having any issues with the sewer cleaning in the way of surprises? Have we found anything that after 30 years that was in there?
What do you want, a body?
No real surprises. There's a couple things that we had inklings of, and they just reaffirmed.
Stoppages or blockages or what? Nothing?
I.
Oh, infiltration.
Yeah.
Well, how long you're laughing, but we found pallets, wheelbarrows.
Oh, I know, I
So,
mean, I've
nothing-
seen
but
about
nothing-
mine because there was a lady
nothing
living in the
shocking,
side of my
nothing
end
shocking,
3 weeks
Nothing
ago.
shocking at this point.
They're not done yet.
They're not completed, but they're most of the way completed, so.
And they're just doing the gravity sewers right now,
Are they doing manholes now?
Yeah, the gravity.
and the manholes.
That's the gravity sewer, yes. For
What zone are they in? 3 or 4?
They're all over the place, because they tied it to every master manhole and went out from there for a period, depending on the lift station. Some of them were only 2 manholes, down at the south roundabout.
Have they found manholes that weren't at the surface? No surprise
Well,
manholes?
we found the one.
Paved over it,
Other,
Buried manholes,
yeah, so
paved like a street or just.
whatever. It could be under dirt, anything.
It was
Usually
under
you'd be
the
surprised.
dirt, and then
We found a couple over at
the
Callaway
one at Fairway Lakes, we found when we had the issue earlier this year. They also have that noted in their print and plan to
We
be
had a
assigned
couple
a
of
new number.
Cypress Grove area.
Well, they were the ones who gave us a pretty significantly low unit price for doing this work. I was just wondering, were there
Yeah.
any surprises that change orders, extras or anything?
No surprises. They seem to be on track.
Good,
Um,
great. Knock on
So knock on wood. The manhole inspection portion is upcoming. We got an updated schedule today, but I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I don't know what that date is.
Oh, and did you see anything or just see anything? Did you smell anything over on West Links on that sewer pump station?
I did not.
Did not? Okay, they
I
had
did
just
not.
been coincidental. Day I was there, it was a block and a half, both directions of that station and stunk.
Was it the one in Gateway Greens or the one?
Gateway Greens on West Links Drive.
Yeah, the one on West Links and Gateway Greens, yes. No, but there was
So all the
nothing.
rain and stuff, I haven't noticed anything for the last couple of days, but about 3 weeks ago,
Okay.
it stunk.
Yeah, so that coincided with the power outage, so maybe there was just build up. So,
If you've checked it, that's good.
yeah.
I just have one quick question. How are we with signage of all the lift stations? Are all lift stations have their numerical signs or no?
They do not have them all installed.
Okay.
I have them.
Okay.
It's on our list of completing, so.
The ones in Pelican are all.
Well done, yeah. I just had to send a few requests and I just had to put location, but I wasn't sure if the sign fell or, because I know there are tie straps and it rot.
Yeah,
so-
well, the ones with fences should all be installed, so if something's missing with the fence,
Then it's preserved.
Daniel Preserve.
Oh, well, we just redid the fence, that's why.
Yeah. Give it up to me to notice.
I'll have to check and make sure it got installed. It should have been installed. We also
Yeah, 'cause
lost
I
the
know-
one at lift station 13 in Stony Brook. Somebody wanted it, I guess, because it said 13 on it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And they're all identified in the GIS?
The lift stations?
Yeah.
Yes. One other thing with Bill, the odor control unit, the new odor control unit was installed at Stony Brook. They just started it up this week,
Tuesday.
so they're coming, did they come out today or are they coming back?
They are coming back. I don't have an exact schedule. Tom had sent an email and I was in the process of responding when I thought I missed something, lightning and lift stations going off. So I ran in here and didn't get the chance to finish up, but they told me that there is an acclimation period, so they would be back every couple of days for probably a week or so, dialing it in.
And we did ask them to keep the old one.
The old one is sitting in place and can be turned back on with just a switch.
Like a
Got
booster?
disconnected.
Back on, like a booster?
So, because it was managing, so if something with the new unit failed or is not working properly, we can engage the old one. And then once we have a significant time with the new one in place and it's working, then we'll worry about removing the old one.
And that same vendor is doing some readings where we paid that company before to come in and do an assessment. We paid them a substantial amount of money. The vendor is actually offering to do pretty much the same assessment that the gentleman did at Girl Scout. So he's put in
Well, he put a data logger in the wet well, so he'll read the data logger stuff, but Webster Environmental did external studies and collection of air and samples as well.
So about
So,
Lutheran Church.
yeah,
Did we just do that on problems or have we done on everything?
I'm sorry.
just the two problem.
Just the
children.
problem.
Yeah.
Problem children we have.
Yeah, so the commonality with those two stations is they both have 4 stations that pump to them. So I believe the agitation of the extra sewage from other places is
That'll do.
the cause of, the root cause.
Anything else for Bill? Okay, thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
I have one additional thing to add before we move on.
I'll send that to you.
Matt DeWitt from Wink News will be here next Tuesday to do weather, hurricane season preparedness in this boardroom, so tell your friends. And I don't know the time.
There was a blast that came out, I saw it on the.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just a quick question. Are the lights at the roundabout in Brooklyn by the high school working? I know we contacted us.
Street lights?
Yeah.
We were told that they were working, but that's been a handful of weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay. All right, anything else for monthly reports? Next.
This should be under goals and up for the upcoming year.
Yep, so you asked that I put together some goals for the next year. Like last year. I try to do one per department, that way it can trickle down, so, really, the big one that's changed, or the two that's changed, is the master irrigation system replacement for Public Works, and then, for Laura's world, a human resources system. Right now it's kind of clunky, but we want to try to get something that's more universal, that we can do more than just payroll on, that we can do year-end reviews and evaluations and questionnaires, and things like that, so.
And the whole HR hiring portion of it is a bajillion times better than what we have right now, so.
If you have any questions, or you see that those are, maybe I need to change them, please let me know, but that's my intent for this next year.
I don't have any, Brad, anywhere else?
No.
Looks like it's now, big plate.
Turkey platter.
Alright,
All right.
so that was Tony.
Okay. Let me open it. Again, part of what Randy was doing and what the rest of the staff updating volunteer waivers. So I reviewed what was out there, we researched case law, had one of our summer interns assist also, and updated it and provided that to Randy. It's probably more lengthy than most people wanted, but it's also just one of those protective measures. Worked out with Laura and Georgia and Chelsea and Russ on the notices, and for the budget hearing and the assessment hearing, we got those out, and probably already saw 2 of them have been placed so far. We had the budget one that came out Sunday, and the budget hearing and assessment resolution, the other one came out. Yes, you had one.
Can I just pause real quick?
Yeah.
The letters went out this week, so just so you know, you might start to hear, your neighbors might start to call you.
What letters?
And it's not for a
The
cookout.
annual letters, the assessment letters that we send out every year.
They went out.
When the assessments go up, you change the purpose, you have to send out both the big map, the big ad twice, and the budget resolution, those budget. One resolution twice.
Yeah, didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to.
No,
so you knew.
fine. The CUSI utility software, working with the a vendor that wants to use their language and not vary at all, so just been working with Chelsea and Laura and Leslie and trying to get them to modify that, so we'll see how that proceeds. Auditor contract requirements, let Chelsea, if you advise them.
No, I do, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So the low bidder, or the selected vendor that the board chose at your last meeting could not meet the certificate of insurance requirements that
Would not add the district as additional insurer.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah,
They wouldn't meet our insurance requirements.
so,
Why? I've never heard of that.
yeah, so we gave them the opportunity to do it by a time and date certain, and told them that we would move on to the next vendor, so we are going with the higher of the 2, the Grau and Associates, which.
There we go. Happy now, Ed?
Good things come to those away.
To Bob's point about why they bid, the requirement
Never heard
was
of
in the
anybody.
RFP.
Yes, the
It was in
requirement.
all the documents, required to have the district named as additional insured on the
Yes.
comprehensive and the liability, all policies.
So I will say.
That's a lot of reading for
I
them to
know,
do this for
sorry.
us.
So I will
That's
say
what I
that
Waste of money.
this vendor is asking for some leniency with some of the limits on the insurance, which we're gonna have an internal discussion on. Like, we require $2 million in professional liability, they're asking to only have $1 million. So we're gonna talk through that and work through that, but that agreement with the second company will probably come back to you at your next meeting.
Okay.
Daniels Parkway Apartments, Stephen talked.
Have something?
Sorry.
I have a little bit of concern about lowering insurance requirements
On the audio underneath.
when we excluded someone for, I mean, not the same thing, but I think we just need to think through that before we.
Yeah, we actually, we went with our insurance provider, for risk, and said, hey, for these different types of categories, what do you recommend? And being the conservative that he is, always went high. I have administratively approved a reduction, I guess, in some of them, because the risk, I felt like the risk was not as, the reward and the risk, you have to kind of weigh those, what the additional cost of.
Yeah, what we did, we worked on a matrix. I I stumbled across on one of my, like I said, my theory is even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. There was a great matrix that I found another entity created for insurance coverage. And so we worked with Laura and Chelsea on that and provided it to the district's consultant. And so we came up with a matrix, and that's what's in all the agreement. Differentiates contract values, vendor, type of work, services. And so there have been some variations, but typically it's job specific and vendor specific. But that can be a discussion about the board, yeah, whether or not the professional negligence they want to come down at. And that's kind of interesting that that's a low number for professional negligence. Quite kind. So the Daniels Parkway Apartments utility issues Stephen touched on. I've had good communications with Lance Chernow with the organization is transitioning to a different portion of the development, Daniels Parkway. I think we, from the staff level and a developer level, we're in consensus as to the terms of the utility outsizing agreement. And as to the temporary irrigation well agreement, we're about 99.5% there. So the plan is to bring it to the August 7th board meeting for the board to look at and review. Interestingly enough, in my conversations with Lance Chernow last time, they may be doing the project in 2 phases. I mean, they're planning on doing it as rental apartments. That's the concept now. And whether or not down the road somebody converts it to a condominium form of ownership, that's a different animal. But right now it might be 2 phases. So 2 different sort of operations. Stony Brook roads and streets were 99.95% there. I brought with me, we have the agreement to be signed with the, these are the exhibits.
It's raining. That's when the weather's bad, the planes take
there
off different roads.
There are 2 items that we need from US Home, and one is, all we need to plug in is notice information, that paragraph, and then get the council for US Homes to bless language revisions that were made to the agreement in the form of deed and consent to conveyance that I'm comfortable with, district's comfortable with, Chelsea and Laura, and the HOA and Katie Berkey and their council are comfortable with. Then there's like 4 exhibits or little nits I need to correct. But what I'd like to do, since the board approved it substantially final form, and it's not been substantially modified since then, it's been sort of cleanup language. I have it here for the chair to sign so we can I can take it back and hang on to it. And we'll get it to Katie to have the HOA sign, basically hold it until US Home. So we're very close.
Okay.
So that's very positive.
So what is the closing date?
July 31st.
Well, that's what we're shooting for, July 31st, or there's another alternative date.
No, we're not entertaining.
No, I understand, but that's what the agreement
June
provides.
5th.
But the agreement provides for an alternative date after certain events take place. So everybody wants this to take place. So it's very good,
Except
appreciate
the
it.
attorneys, they like to keep
No,
partying. I was kidding.
No, okay. I really appreciate the help by Laura and Chelsea on this as far as numbers and status of things, very, very helpful. And also making sure everything's within the box of what they need. Stand and
So
lose.
then, Laura, given that it closes on July 31st, and it's now over, you are not including anything in the budget for next year for Stony Brook.
Yep.
And they will or will not be able to use all their assets.
They have until September 30th to expend the remaining funds per year.
September 30th of
This year, yep, but they are not assessed, there is no 004 fund, which is Stony Brook, in the budget for fiscal '26.
Okay, but are they going to be able to meet the September 30th?
Yes, I'm worried that they're gonna run out before that.
That's part of the
It's not gonna be a
conversation.
problem.
Yeah, that's part of the conversation I had with Lauren Chelsea the other day, yes.
Yeah.
If you noticed earlier, Stephen Bloom called out Stony Brook as being at 77%. We're supposed to be at 75.
Yeah.
That's why.
And it's actually higher than that because his numbers don't include the amount that's in covered new POs.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're burning through it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I'm watching it very closely.
And it's been a very good cooperative venture too, it really has been, which is always nice.
It has.
Yes.
It really has.
Yes.
I'm saying.
9-day difference.
A big change. Kudos to Stony Brook. I'm
Yes.
gonna say that. Big
Yes.
change.
Yeah, in Santa Luz, I was working on today, and as Stephen mentioned, it just putting together a more detailed letter to Kelly Price, going through the history of how we got to where we are today. Chelsea has obtained a quote for the work to clean it up from extreme divers, and it's $85,000 to do it now. And so what I'm doing is a letter to Kelly Price, I'll circulate it to you all tomorrow. That goes through the history of where we started, the opportunities we gave them, and this is causing significant problems for the district, and they need to either fix it, or we're gonna fix it, go after
Now,
it.
the 85 doesn't include the downspouts.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't,
No.
just a hope not, I don't know.
No. And I did file a formal complaint with Lee County Code Enforcement against Lennar regarding this issue. So they're pursuing it all through their path.
I'm just as frustrated, all as frustrated as you, that they had plenty of opportunity during the dry season last year.
The
And then
driest
this year-
we've ever had, they could go out there and almost look just like you did on the 109. 109 was done in the dirt. That one could have been done too.
Yeah, so I'll circulate that to Chelsea and report back to the board's next meeting, and then come back to the budget if we need to do for our litigation. Sunshine Law PowerPoint video, Chelsea had a good idea that we have a PowerPoint presentation, Sunshine Law, Public Records Law for committees. Well, we're gonna create one that has like a voiceover also.
Will this take the place of that deal we have to sit through 4 hours?
No, you gotta do that too.
I did that.
And I'm-
Did it get?
Yeah, I
Oh,
sent
yes,
it, I
you
sent it to you.
I'm in the middle of it,
Are you sure you sent it to me?
about 30%.
No, this is one
Their
that,
feeders, you got till December.
this is one that can be presented to the subcommittees or committees as a refresher, without us having to make it or do, or we could be remote.
Painful.
But it's sort of like, once a year we'll update it as appropriate. The next one,
I'll just say I've done it.
yeah, the irrigation, it's on hold, I'm still not sure what's going on in Pelican Reserve, Bob and Carol, that's still on hold, the irrigation.
They're not moving on it, that's fine.
Yeah, the storage tank, Chelsea just reported that we may get, wow, it's been since February, we gave it to them? Okay, I'm looking at it. The Chamber lawsuit, I've heard nothing more from the defense counsel that we've been working with, and always good to work with. I'm ready to wrap up my Tetra Tech review for the CDBG. The Gateway Greens Master Association, one of our staff is very good at graphics. And so as opposed to, I want to make sure that the exhibit's corrected, for the cross-hatching of the easement areas, that we will have the easements that are being assigned. We had sort of the cross-hatching that we did by hand, but we have one of our staff is good at graphics. She has a graphic computer, graphics monitor. So I'm going to, again, wrap that up and give that to Mark and make sure we're all on the same page. I want to get that recorded in the next 2 weeks to put that to bed. I've not yet sent it to Mark, I want to wait for that. The rest are basically ongoing as we go along, unless the board has any questions. Oh, and with regards to town lakes, I haven't yet finished the bullet points, I need to get those out to the residents.
I called him, I left him messages, as he called you, he hadn't returned my call. I don't know what he's saying.
And we haven't found out anybody else, right?
I researched it, he looked in that LexisNexis, and we tried,
So there are no other warm bodies.
not that we can find. Right.
I have a question for Tony.
Yes.
Tony, if we have an asset, and I'm speaking about the monuments that are at Tree Line and Colonial on both sides, those are such unique properties. I mean, it's possible nobody's even interested in them. Is there a way of putting something out there to the commercial real estate world that we have these two properties and, without going through all the formal stuff of declaring it surplus and then doing doing all of that stuff?
We still have to declare it surplus, but I think.
No, but I mean, if there was even interest.
Well, I think what might be helpful is recognizing that commercial developers like to squeeze every square inch out of everything, and also like to put their signage in many places that can to attract business. I would submit, probably those shopping center developers or their tenants may want it, or someone may want to have additional parking or do an additional feature.
Parking would be
Or you never know, maybe they can modify the site plan for another outbuilding. Nowadays, it's amazing, because you see all these smaller drive-through coffee places and everything else going up on postage stamp sized parcels, like the Tide cleaners.
I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Carol, I think what she's asking is, can we put feelers out without doing any formal declaration of surplus?
We need to do that. I thought the board already did that.
Well, PPAC discussed it, but then there was differences as to whether they wanted to do it or not, and who would even be interested in it, and how much of a price do you put on it. There are so many things there, and honestly, a couple times when I've gone past it now, I mean, who would buy it? What can you put on half an
First, you
acre?
just, before you do all that, you need to find a commercial broker.
Yes.
And start there, have them do just a desk assessment or kick some tires, put some feelers out. And then he'll tell you whether it's,
That's what you do.
there's any benefit.
How do you start it?
Yeah,
Okay, so
frankly,
is
you need a
it
commercial
possible
broker.
to ask Tony to send out such a letter to the,
No, I think,
we dealt with some commercial brokers before, right, Chelsea? And Chelsea has some, like, maybe Denny Grimes does mainly residential, correct?
Yeah.
Might be some others, but you'd be surprised, aside from, that is an excellent idea, a commercial broker, what developers or property owners look at when they see a corner piece like that on a 6-lane, could be an 8-lane highway in the future, that the value of that to that visibility. And again, you have whatever the situation is on those two development parcels from a shopping center perspective.
okay, so
That might be
Tony,
able to be
how
part
can
of-
we put out feelers without doing anything official?
Like I said, just.
And without costing money.
Yes, thank you.
The key is trying to not have to sign in for a commission, because that's the whole thing. Once you contact a broker, they may argue later on that they're the procuring cause and want to get a commission for that. So that's one thing, if you just want to retain a broker now, a commercial broker.
No,
if you
no.
if you
I
sit
just
on
wanna-
this to the next
I
meeting,
want to
let
kind
me
of
put
put
some
out
feelers out.
feelers to the community without,
Yeah, let's sit on it,
Yeah.
let me see if I can put some feelers out and then come back to the next meeting.
Okay, without incurring any liability, responsibility for a broker.
okay, thank
But
you.
again,
Just to get it off dead center, we
Right.
think we want to move on it, but we don't know what the.
Could somebody that owns that parcel or those two parcels buy it and use it for advertisement?
Well, that's what I was saying.
Is there a prohibition?
Okay, assuming that,
Well, that's exactly what I'm.
well, it's in the Pelican.
You put up 2 billboards right there and
Well,
generate
it's in the.
$10,000 a month.
It's in the Pelican Reserve. It's subject to Pelican Reserve Special Development Area Regulations. It's part of that. And so whatever.
People
the
like
use-
that now.
Yeah, whatever the use of
I
our.
like the idea of making money.
Money, I know.
Yeah, there are listed uses in there. And whether or not there could be a standalone sign that the district could still own and maintain and rent out to somebody else for marketing purposes, I could look at that for that purpose. Whether or not the property owners there would buy it, the owner of the center, assuming that it's one big owner and they're different parcels. Well, then somebody
Different sides
else.
of the street, of tree.
Yeah, I think there's 2, one on each side.
Yeah.
Well, but then again, that property owner or somebody adjacent to that may want to buy it and then somehow do a redevelopment of that area, either put some other use in there. Like I said, drive-through Starbucks, drive-through car washes, drive-through Tide cleaners.
P-PAC has already started the process of mall.
Yeah,
Tony, I don't really
Yeah.
care what they put there. I just want to make some money.
No, I understand. Well, and that gets back into before the district would sell it, I would suggest you get an evaluation or an appraisal of it. So,
We did.
yeah, well, current value, so you at least have a minimum value to set.
Let's do this. Doug's gonna put some feelers out. I'll reach out to an advertising billboard company and just say, hey, what would be your thoughts on this? And we'll both report back.
And I'll look at the
That would be
SDA,
great. Thank you.
I'll look at the SDA requirements in the meantime.
I don't think the people are gonna like it to be a billboard. I don't think that'd be
And then there's
That's what property rights are for.
Do what?
That's what property rights are for.
They can buy the property, do whatever they want to with it.
It's
We don't know
on,
what
it's
the-
on a major intersection, you know.
I can see where the 2 owners of those
What's
deals
next?
could make some advantage here.
Tony, anything else for
No,
Tony?
nothing else.
Thank you.
Anything else for Tony?
Nope. You answered San Luis.
Next, agenda management?
All right. Anything else for Chelsea on agenda management?
List is dwindling, so good to go.
I hear none. All right, supervisor comment, I'll start with Carol.
None.
Ed?
Yeah, this was, I don't know if it's totally a CDD issue, but we had a real problem going on at Gateway Greens relative to storm sewer, stepped on the brake, hurricane shutters. Hurricane shutters. We're seeing a lot of stuff coming out of Lee County Fire Department. They want to be able to ban owners of homes putting up storm shutters when there's no storm. Because it's dangerous to the firemen going in and they
Yeah,
get trapped in.
there's a county ordinance.
There's a
on it.
movement going that way. Well, it's in our covenants, and we're getting ready to enforce it, and figuring that the wrath of God is gonna come from the 50% of the owners that are up north, that they put theirs up because they don't wanna have to deal with it. And it's gonna be a nightmare. My ideal was, is any other associations had any issues on this, or do you allow people to board up their houses for months at a time?
We don't.
We do.
Pelican does, so people can board them up.
I think we've.
We
I don't think you guys allow it.
I don't allow it, and.
You're bad.
I know. All right.
I think the only time we've done it is if there was a threat and it was approved
Yeah.
by the HOA that you can now put up your shutters, and then once you do,
Yeah.
then
We
they'll
haven't-
let they'll
We
them
have
stay.
extended, we have extended the time, like for residents, but we didn't want to do that. But I think that's a requirement, the statute last year, right, 720 required you to put something out.
Yeah.
The county, the fire department, they're gonna do something, and they want it banned. And I see their point in doing it. The problem is, you've got these people that are seasonal,
They're gone, they're not gonna
They're
put them
gone.
up in July, take them down in August, put them up in September.
And it's,
I mean, you can create
It's a bad
guidelines, you can
situation.
say the clear ones that are okay, just don't put plywood and that will not be okay, so you can do that.
we got a nightmare.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's
No,
it.
either.
Wish it would go away.
I'm gonna have a discussion with Chelsea afterwards on the timesheets, because I'm still got some examples of way the timesheets are being allocated, up to 15-minute increments, which didn't seem right, so I want to do that. I enjoyed the bi-monthly letter. That was very nice when that came out. Kudos to whoever did it.
Randy.
Well done. And have we gotten any microphone comments? Are these better or worse?
Great.
First meeting.
Yeah, it's the first meeting.
Anybody signed in and said it's good? I know we usually say we can't even tell.
We had some technical issues, but we're gonna work through that.
Okay,
They'll be here on Tuesday to do a little tweaking.
that's all I've got.
Yes. I didn't know, Bob, if you wanted to bring up the whole communications thing, or?
No, Carol's.
All right, we'll go, we'll take care of it. We're working on it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I don't have anything else.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh.
Timed it good for the rain.
No, I don't, I went over, I don't have anything else.